Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your interviewer today, Dr. Traci Ellen Alexander.
Hi, I'm Traci Alexander, known as Dr. T, and you're watching Book Alive.
So please put your hands together for the talented and beautiful Miss Jenifer Lewis.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I don't know why they talking all that mess about my career. Don't nobody care. Y'all, please. Y'all know I came to party. It's so good to see everybody. I just want you to know that I wrote this book because so many people ask me how I did it. Well, it's in there. It was a lot of determination, a lot of pain to write this book. I had to go back and relive a lot of deaths, a lot of heartache, a lot of rooms with strange men, being bipolar. So it was quite the journey. There you go. See, I like to see my people. Ooh, y'all so cute. I see one ugly person in the back, but that's okay. You just keep on living, baby. It's gonna be all right. I can't even see back there. I'll tell you a joke. I'm gonna tell you a joke I used to do. It's so horrible. I used to play for the hospital audiences in New York. And you know, people be down here in wheelchairs. I used to tell them, I said, look, I get standing ovations when I go somewhere. I said, I don't care if you ain't got no legs. Get the up.
Jenifer.
So you guys have yourself a good time. Let's talk about the book.
Let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the book. First of all, before we can get into the book drops, the book comes out November 14th, and we are honored because guess what? Today is what? November 12th. And Jenifer came to Westchester before her tour officially starts.
Y'all number one.
Come on now. Come on now. Let's go back because we're talking about more than 300 movies, films, more than 300. And that's a lot.
Yeah, you know, guys, listen. I was born into this. As you've seen me over the years, I'm a born entertainer. I know nothing else. I breathe it. You know, Bette Midler came backstage when I was on Broadway doing Hairspray, and she said, "Oh, Jenifer, you were fabulous." I said, "Oh, you know, I wasn't doing nothing but brushing." I said, "I wasn't doing nothing but brushing my teeth." Come on now. But this is what I do. I have loved entertaining all of my life. I started when I sang my first solo in church, a song called "Oh Lord, You Brought Me a Mighty Long Way." 5 years old. Talking about I've been brought a mighty long way. I was a hot mess even then.
Wait a minute. And I told you I didn't go to church today, so can you just take me back to when you was 5 years old?
Oh, Lord, you've been good to me. You've been good to me. When I was down and out and didn't have a dime, you made a way for me so many times. Lord, you brought me, hey, you brought me from a mighty long way. Yeah.
Come on now. Just like that. This is the reason why she is the mother of Black Hollywood. But you know what? You are the mother of Hollywood. How about that? The mother of Hollywood. How about that? From 5 years old, I mean, you've gone from Kinloch, Missouri to Hollywood, around the world, and back again.
Absolutely. You know, I left, when I left Kinloch, you know, I started off as a leader. I mean, my personality, I had so much charisma, it was stupid. But a lot of the bipolar mania was mixed in with that. See, I didn't know I had the disease. So it was just, oh, here comes crazy Jenny. well, nobody knew, with all that energy running around, screaming and hollering and carrying on. And honey, always on a search and destroy mission, My sisters and brothers were so sick of me, when I left for college, they were like, good riddance. But of course, they love me now because I'm rich. But anyway, listen, hey, okay? No, you can't have no money. But anyway, you treated me like shit when I was a kid. But listen, no, I stayed, I was in church, mama, our mamas back then, BTU, Sunday school, choir, but I loved the choir more than I loved anything, and I wanted to sing. I did the cheerleading, and I'm president of my class for 6 years, from 7th grade to my senior year. And I won by 1 vote. Honey, I cussed them out so bad. I mean, come on, where's the loyalty? So anyway, also my college friends also loved me. They voted me most likely to succeed. Oh, this is high school. And then I went on to Webster University. It was Webster College then, majored in theater arts. I ran the school, child. I knew everybody from the janitor to the president. It was just the personality. I was always in every production. It was so sad because all the rest of the kids would stand at the call board and, looking to see if they had been cast. Child, I would skip past knowing I had been cast. And when they invited me to the artistic director's office, I put my feet up on his desk, and he looked at me. We were all nervous. Would we be accepted into the theater department after the sophomore year? And I had my feet up on his desk. He said, are you that sure of yourself? I said, yes, baby, I am. And of course, I was accepted. And then I went to New York. I got my first Broadway show within 11 days of graduating. I was determined. I was so young, I didn't have any fear in me. And that mania from bipolar disorder, it can distort thinking. The disease worked for me, it worked against me. But I was just fearless. When I landed in New York, my first review was Hurricane Lewis hits New York. So, I enjoyed myself. I had a sex addiction, and thank God I didn't do the hard drugs, because once you start those, the drugs, when you have that mania, it's very difficult to stop any kind of addiction. The depression was there, but honey, you couldn't stop me on that stage. There was so much love coming over the footlights.
But and this is what I'm listening to you, and we know your body of work, but I don't know if we really know who this woman is. Can I just read?
Absolutely.
Can I just read a little bit from the book?
Please.
Do you mind? It's a little lengthy, but I just want you to understand who she is. She says, I used what I learned from these legends in many of my most popular roles. When I played Will Smith's Aunt Helen on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, mixing in shades of Pearl Bailey. In the cars.
I've always been aware of the shoulders that I stand on. And it's not only the shoulders, but it's the shoulders of the shoulders of the shoulders. We go back to the Middle Passage. We go back to where we were, the homeland, you see. So I've always been conscious of paying tribute to those who came before me. The Billie Holidays, who had to sit on cold, freezing buses when she toured in the South, unable to go into the bathrooms. And when I researched her at the Schomburg Library in New York, I sat there, I remember very distinctly thinking, we get all these stories. But I imagined Billie sitting there on her period. See, I go deep. Harriet couldn't wake up and say, I'm on my period. We can't go. You understand? I go to the human aspect of it. I go deeper than we just couldn't go. We couldn't eat at the counter or use the bathroom or drink from water. What about when they were sick? What about when they had arthritis? So I went deep, and going deep makes you give more. So when I pay tribute to Billy, Ethel Waters, Mahalia Jackson, Lena Horne, Tina, Dinah, and Aretha, I went all over the country, the full decade of the 80s, every Black History Month. And to this day, students will come up to me and say, Miss Lewis, I remember. They not only remember what I said, but they remember I cussed them out, even then. You know? I remember one student was bold enough to say, and then down south somewhere, he said, Miss Lewis, what hotel you staying in? I said, the same one as your mama. You know, so you gotta make people laugh. You give them, when we laugh, our cells dance. It's the most healing thing in the world, laughter. And that's why I've enjoyed so much of what I do. I rarely leave a room and not leave a smile on people's faces, even if I have to shock them, because that's my job. When I was in LA, 6 months had gone by after 9/11, and I realized I had not heard the sound of laughter. You know, the country was in shock. So I wrote a show. It was called Now What? Because that's what I said after watching television. You know, we felt so helpless in Los Angeles that we couldn't be there to pull them out. You'll read in the book where the Northridge earthquake hit Los Angeles, and I had to pull out, kick down doors, and pull people out. You think I was going to go outside and save myself, and the ceiling was coming down. It's moments like that that define who you are. Do you leave them behind, or do you go back and get them so that if you live, you can live with yourself? Remember that.
Whoa. I'm sitting here because I had the joy of reading this book, and I finished reading this book this morning. I read this book, and I promise you, you will not be able to put the book down. Trust me, it's filled with drama. It's filled with drama. It's filled with the Dominican boyfriend and this one. Oh, yes. It's filled with a lot of drama, but what it's filled with is my favorite chapter, chapter 14, Mother Courage.
Yes.
Mother Courage.
When I went into therapy, I had a group of women, African-American women. We would get together maybe once a month and have good food and good wine, and we would talk about our children. Well, they would. I hadn't adopted Charmaine yet, but they were doctors, psychologists, and psychiatrists, and I believe one was a social worker. But they were all prominent women who had marched in the front of the line in the 60s. You see, some of their people took the hoses and the dogs. So these were women I looked up to. And they were, civil rights leaders, some of them. So I paid attention to these women, and they suggested, after they saw just how crazy I was, they saw the pain through the entertainer. And when I had a nervous breakdown after my father died of a massive heart attack, and maybe 56 people I knew had died from AIDS, I hit the floor. My grief was just too great. So Beverly Heath looked at me. I was under a table. Don't ask me why I was under a table. And she said, she didn't patronize me. She didn't come at me. She continued stirring the pot on the stove. And she said to me, she says, you know, Jenny, there's no greater journey than the journey within. Oh, that sounded so exciting to me. I was like, there's a journey within. So I took it. And they suggested that I get, mentor a child that would help me work through some of my own childhood things, give a child something I hadn't gotten as a child. So I met Charmaine, and believe it or not, She was under a desk when I walked in the room. This was through the Big Sister, Big Brother program. And I wanted to crawl under there with her. But with therapy and with help and courage and strength, I reached my arm out and I pulled that baby from under that desk. And I've been loving her ever since. She's 30 years old.
I just want to touch upon that, because in the chapter you talk about true love. You talk about true love, and when I read that, the connection for me almost, it was full circle. It was a full circle. The relationship with your mother, the healing with your mother, understanding the relationship and how your mother raised you.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that? Because I don't think people really know your story and the relationship of your mother and how it impacted you.
Absolutely.
And how you had to learn how to love yourself.
Absolutely.
And can you help us understand that?
Well, you know, when someone abuses you sexually, a lot of us go into shock. We get scared, ashamed. She said, I want everybody who knows somebody who's been molested to stand up. A lot of people stood up. And then she said, I want everybody who molested somebody to stand up. I said, come on, girl. God, man. I was like, oh, come on, Jesus. Yes, woo! And of course, the entire audience was on their feet. What a brave move. Even if that had been the first night that they had stood up for it. You stand up for yourself. You tell somebody. If you're sick, tell somebody. If you're depressed, you tell somebody. Something wrong, tell somebody. And then, if you're able to look in the mirror, I'm going to give you an exercise to do tomorrow morning after you brush your teeth. Hope they brush your teeth. So y'all know I'm a fool. I want you to stand there in the mirror. I want you to look yourself right in the eyes, and I want you to say the words, I love myself. I want you to say it over and over again. Keep looking at yourself. Keep looking. The tears are going to come. Let them fall. I love myself. I love myself. And instead of sitting there or standing there putting on makeup for an hour, put yourself on. Let the tears come and you stand there until you mean it. Then go have your day and watch what happens.
Is that why? Yeah.
It won't be easy. Don't think that's easy. That's not an easy exercise. But I dare you to do it. Oh, what a difference it's going to make. Because then can't nothing get on you.
Is that the reason why, and just thinking through some of the things that you experienced, is that the reason why you went and you shared with Oprah? You didn't have to tell anybody that you had this disorder. She didn't have to tell anybody.
You know, I have this expression, it's called, ain't no shame in my game. And if you really want to know the truth, it wasn't like I was coming out. Look, the white people just gave it a name, bipolar. Shit, like I said, I was crazy all my life. So you see, I wrote a show as a joke called Bipolar Bath and Beyond. So a woman from Jet Magazine came back, stage. It wasn't like I was coming out. I was just doing another thing to make people laugh, you see. And that's why you must hold on to your passion. Keep it moving. It will unfold for you. You just have to do the work. Y'all, I got everything I wanted. Oh, that's powerful. That just went through me. Because I did. Let me tell you how I know. Because I still have a smile on my face. That's how you know. That's how you know if you're doing the right thing. Am I happy? There are two emotions. And I want to say this before I say that. I don't know everything. This is what I believe. That's one thing I didn't try to do in the book was preach. I can't teach you anything. I can tell you my story. I can sing you my song. Don't try to change nobody. And like I said, the two emotions. One feels good, one feels bad. Choose. That's one thing you have. You have a choice as a human being. It's what separates us from animals. Choose to feel good. If you're going over somebody's house, you know you're going to feel, don't go over there. You're going to get in a car and go shopping with somebody you know is going to bitch all day long. Don't go shopping with them. You got a complainer in your life, stay away from them. Take care of you. And then your arms will be strong to catch who's falling. I mean that, y'all. I had to wait for my kid to come back. She didn't speak to me for 2 years. Now let me tell you what I had to do. I had to stop worrying. Somebody else's life ain't yours. You can help them if they're ready. Otherwise, leave them alone. Because if they don't ask, they ain't listening. I'm so good.
Yes, you are. You're so good. You're so good.
Y'all, I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead, Ruby. She's so good.
My SHT stinks. It does. Oh, well, sometimes. But listen, everybody's got some. And if you sit in shit too long, it stops smelling. Be careful of that. You find your way to nature, to a tree, clouds, flowers, the eyes of children, moonrises, sunsets, water. You find your way. You find your way to joy, the pursuit of happiness.
Lessons learned. Lessons learned. I just want to, Jordan is giving me the wrap-up sign, so that's why I'm looking at her, and she's like, okay, she's giving us that time. But before we go, there's just so much I want to talk about. But can we just talk about lessons learned? And I'm going to say a few names of people. I just want you to tell us what comes to mind. When I think of lessons learned, I always talk about passing pearls. Mm-hmm. I believe that you have to pass your pearls and share your pearls and share those jewels. And if I say the name Shirley Chisholm, what comes to mind?
I met Shirley Chisholm. How about that? Yes, sir. The first woman to run for president. When I think of Shirley Chisholm, I think of Sojourner and Harriet, Mary Bethune. She was a warrior, a soldier. How dare you, a black woman, try to run for president? Back then. It's conceivable now. That's courage. That's nothing but courage. That's courage.
That's courage. Tom Hanks.
Oh, Tom was like my brother. He's so ignorant. He was like my brother, raised on the same block. We acted such a fool when we worked together. Yeah, I used to always go, that's not funny. He said, you the only one funny? I said, yeah. Negro. Oh, he loved me. We had the best time. He's a great guy, really.
He taught you a lot, too.
Yeah, he told me to pay attention. He said to me, and you can take this in your life, if you don't mean it, don't say it.
Right. And I saw when you were I read when you were working on a movie with him, and you started studying for another.
Yeah, he came up
and he came in on you.
I was studying for Jackie's Back, which is the movie I starred in on Lifetime. Y'all go to YouTube. Somebody put the whole damn thing on YouTube. So watch it. It's very funny. It's called Jackie's Back. Remember that. Tom he wouldn't sneak up behind me. He just came up behind me, and I was reading a script studying for another job. Because when you work with Tom Hanks, baby, you prepare. So I knew I was ready for that scene. And he was just adorable, very professional, in his skin, It's a beautiful wife, Rita. They're just beautiful people, and he's stayed supportive of me and my career all these many years. Bette Midler's been there for me. Rosie, Whoopi, of course. I'm going on The View Monday, and it's Whoopi's birthday. So tune in to that. Sharon Stone was very giving in our scene that we had in a movie called The Mighty. Meryl Streep I worked with in the play Mother Courage, Bertolt Brecht's Mother Courage, and she was wonderful. I like to give you a little story there. Meryl Streep was sitting on the floor, right? Now I'm back here, and I've just flown into New York. I had been in television and film, so I hadn't been on stage in a long time, so I was nervous anyway. So there's Meryl Streep on the floor, flipping through her script like this. I'm like, what the F, you know? So I got kids in the audience, don't worry. So anyway, I got it under control. Ooh, I cuss in a minute, like truck driver. I don't know, I've been like that since I was a kid. I really have. I've been cussing. But I will tell you one thing about me. I never curse in anger. Honey, the gods will suck the air out of my lungs. They like, no, little girl, you don't get to give that in a bad way. We gave you that gift to serve. You see, I'm very careful with that. I have to, as much as I make people laugh, I have to be very careful to hurt them. So I snatch it back. I really do. You get nothing from that. So Meryl Streep's on the floor. Flip, 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 flip. So I got what my friend later described as Streep stress. So I went to George C. Wolfe, and I was crying. I said, George, I don't think I can do it. Now, this man has hired me, flown me into New York to work with Meryl Streep. How many actresses do you think wanted that part? And he gave it to me without an audition. Why? Because he knew I could sing. But what he remembered some 10 years later, that I had burst into an office, kidding around with people, screaming a monologue from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. So he remembered in that moment that I had trained in the classics and that I could, in fact, perform Bertolt Brecht. So I'm crying, and he's, I can't, you know. And he looked at me. He did not patronize me, nor did he coddle me. He said, Jenifer, jump in the river. Show me your strokes. And if you can't get across, I'll jump in and bring you on to the other side. I was like, wow. Wow. The kindness and compassion in that. It made me so happy. So I said to him, well, can I sing my song first? He said, yeah. So I started singing. And honey, Meryl Streep went slow. Okay, that shit slowed up. And then I'm going to show you exactly what her face did when she turned around now. Okay, I'm right there. And she went. Now watch the eye. That little squint. The same God that made you made me. And I wasn't scared no more. I tore that shit up. Yay!
Two more. I know we gotta go. Two more. Lessons learned. Tyler Perry.
Oh, Tyler. Oh, wow, y'all. He's wonderful. That's my baby. He's also been one to really support me in my career. He's a big fan. He just loves and adores me. I remember they sent me a script of the first one, Diary of a Mad Housewoman, or something like that. And, well, yeah, I got so many shows, I don't know one from the other. So I read the script, and I said, because I didn't know him, I said, who the F is playing Medea? I said, I'm Medea. Who is it? And they said, well, the author is playing Medea. I said, who's the author? They said, Tyler Perry. I said, that man? Because I didn't know who he was. But yeah, he's been there for me. And I'll give you a little story here. Remember when I fall in the grave in, which one is that? It's Medea's, Mr. Meet the Browns. See, I don't know. When I fall in the grave that morning, now I was supposed to sing Amazing Grace. And so that morning, Tyler was exhausted. He had been doing a TV show, movie after movie after movie. And he's sitting in this director chair. And I go by, I said, Tyler. I said, Tyler, let me fall in the grave. Now, what fool won't fall in the grave? But I knew it would be funny. And so he just looked at the people. He said, y'all dig Jenifer Holes fall in the grave. And he said, I can't fight with Jenifer Lewis this morning. Just let her fall in the grave. Go get a mattress and just let her fall. It was so funny. No, he's wonderful. Tyler is everything you would hope he is. He's
and
absolutely
he also,
wonderful.
what I also appreciate is he also helped you learn when you were learning how to say no. Okay.
Oh yes,
and know your worth.
Yes. I had just finished Strong Medicine on Lifetime, 6 years. It was a great job. I played Lana Hawkins. It was a great, great job. And we were #1 on the network. Well, they hired a new president, and she canceled the show. Now, I had just bought that big house. Of course, I was on a bipolar episode. Girl, that house cost so much money. I sat up in bed when I was over at the old house, and I'd be sound asleep, and I'd pop up and go, how much? How much? Yeah. So, but you can go watch the Oprah interview on YouTube, and you can see that whole story. But the point I'm making is I had just bought a house, a big house. And they called, and Strong Medicine had canceled. Oh, that'll be $2. No, give me 20. Okay? Mm-hmm. You ask for what you are worth, and don't be scared to do it. Watch what happens. Watch it come to you. You have to be unafraid in this life. Walk with your head up. Up! Okay? Start no shit, it won't be none. Go on, baby.
And that brings us to the final person. Lessons learned. Dorothy Mae Lewis.
My mother. Listen to me very carefully, because I know you've experienced it. Sometimes when you tell those secrets, people are not going to react the way you want them to. But you tell it anyway. My mother was a great woman. My mother, oh, honey, imagine. Let me see if I can stand up with this knee. Go on, knee, you better stand up. My mother was a great woman. She came from nothing. She put 7 children through school, on through master's degrees. All 7 of us. 2 of them were teachers in the St. Louis School District, 30 years. They're retired now. One of my sisters was a big shot at State Farm. The other one, big shot at AT&T. My mother didn't play. There was no affection, but there was everything else. So, I honor her in this book. She was in love with the pastor that molested me. And she didn't know quite what to do with it, so it was silenced. You be careful with whom you share yourself with. Be kind to yourself. If you know there's danger, listen to your instincts. A con artist came into my life. I didn't expect it, I never expected anything that evil could touch me. I didn't think, what? Oh, I got real mad at God. Went down to the beach. I said, you send me a con artist? on the same day my mother died. Did you want something? Are you trying to get my attention? You feel your feelings and you get through it. I got through it. Don't take more than that to get me down. My knee is hurting. You think I care? I got a book signing tour to do. I got some talking to do. And somebody put their ears, everybody put their hands over a child's ear right now, because I'm going to say something. I just took a private jet around the world. Hey, I saved up a lifetime to do it. And this knee was hurting, even then. You know what I said to my girlfriend? Fuck a knee. Sometimes you got to say that so you can get up and keep it moving. You think a knee? I said, honey, it ain't no heart attack. It's a knee. It's below the hip. Keep it moving. Get out. Oh, that's Ruby. Here come Tina Turner. They don't even put the S on. They don't say Tina Turner's mama. They go, Tina Turner mama. Yes, darling. Oh, of course they do, girl. I rarely say any damn thing on the script. They be like, just let Jenifer do what she want to do. But I am professional. And I do give honor and respect to the writers. The writers on Blackish, they're the stars of the show, darling. Isn't it a wonderful show? Oh, God, something we can be proud of. All right, 2 more questions. Yes, love.
Hi, my name is Monica.
Oh, suck it. I didn't have to give her no directions. Go on, girl. What you doing?
And I love Blackish. And I love how you're taking the real issues.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Police brutality, the N-word, the dysfunction in the family. Yes. Oh, Juneteenth. Yes. Oh, honey, when I got that script, I called Kenya Barris, who is the creator of the show. I said, darling, you've done it. If this is the beginning, oh, and I'm sure we've got like 5 more years on that show, if not 10. It will go on and on. It's what the country needs right now. And I want to tell you another reason I wrote this book. When I saw the young people lay down in the streets at the barricades, the policemen, the book is what I want you to do now. I want you to get up. Stand up and stay up. Resist the forces that will take air to breathe from your grandchildren. You've got to stand up, y'all. We got to fight again. We got to march again. And we will. One more. It's okay. You both, no, since you both stood up, you both will get a question. Go on.
I'm going to be brief. When I feel a little down, I'll turn on that YouTube video. My daughter put it on my phone. The wedding ringer. The wedding ringer.
Josh Gad. Yeah.
And you match him. He's trying to.
Oh, when I'm cussing? Girl, that wasn't me. That was my twin, and you know it. One more, darling. What do you need? Hi, baby. Hi, Jenifer. Okay. That's spelled wrong, but go on.
Thank you for everything you've done. And I don't know if it was done purposely, but from here, the way the chair is, they're like angel wings on you.
All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to know your take on what's happening in Hollywood now. We've heard about the casting couch for so long, and it's now finally coming to light.
Yes.
And I want to know your thoughts about it and how that can be solved so that the next generation coming in won't have to deal with it.
Well, one of the wonderful things that they're doing now in Hollywood, which they should have been doing, but sometimes it takes a wave of madness for change to happen. 2 days ago, we had a mandatory meeting at Blackish on sexual harassment. the entire crew. We're talking not just the cast, but the entire crew, from the cameraman to the makeup artist to wardrobe. Everybody had to attend. So they're taking these steps now to inform people of what is the right way to do it and the bad and the worst and the wrong way to do it, you see. One thing I couldn't take is they said something about shimmying. I said, you mean I can't shimmy on nobody? But anyway, what I think about that is very simple. I applaud the people who come forward. I am applauding it, darling. I come so forward in this book. And I wrote this before this happened. So they're brave, they're courageous to come forward, and it is healing, y'all. You'll move on with some freedom in your soul, but you gotta tell. And by the way, 1 out of 3 people have been molested. So if there's 3 people in the room, somebody's been touched the wrong way. So be nice to each other. You don't know what's going on. I'm going to tell you one last thing. When I got to LA and started driving, I had a little road rage. Get out of the way. I go with that. And a good friend of mine was sitting in the passenger seat, and she said to me, she said, Jenifer, what if that person's mother just died? And they're swerving just a little bit. I went, damn. Never thought about that. No more road rage. So be careful. Be careful how you treat somebody else. You know, you don't know. They could be having a heart attack in the car. So that is my message. I'm going to tell everybody, be nice to each other. Because, honey, I'm 60 years old and I got 30 more summers. Maybe 35, but I know I got 30 more. The reason I know I ain't going to die is because I got so much to do. So, how many summers do you have left? You want to give them to somebody that don't mean you no good? Or you want to see the world and breathe and pursue happiness?
All right. In these
Drop
streets.
the mic.
In these streets.
In these streets. Look at you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Jenifer Lewis.
Thank you, guys.
Now you know. Dr. Jenifer Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you.